Rock and roll.
Yep, we're ready.
Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals Public Review Session for June 27, 2016. We'll begin with the special order calendar. Decision items. Item number 1, 16-12BZ, 184 Nostrand Avenue, Brooklyn.
Okay, this is up for decision, but we have to defer it. There's a DEP air quality review going on.
Continued hearing items. Item number 2, 63654BZ, 9612 Seaview Avenue, Brooklyn.
This one, they asked to adjourn 6 weeks.
Item number 3, 69859BZ, 2773 Nostrand Avenue, Brooklyn.
Okay, they submitted a letter stating that the remediation equipment is still on site, but they didn't explain why it has to remain. If remediation is complete, so I would like to understand that. They did, at our request, show the distance between the dispensers from the property line. Anybody else?
Well, I think we had asked them for a site plan without the equipment because they're going to renovate the entire site. So, you know, conceivably, at some point, since the remediation is finished, they're going to remove the equipment.
Right, okay. Okay.
Go. Next case. New cases. Item number 4, 54869BZ, 107-10 Astoria Boulevard, Queens.
Okay, we need a community board recommendation. The statement of facts description of the proposed concrete island is 3 times 24.5 feet, but the drawings are 2 islands that are 3 by 5.
Yeah.
So that's not accurate in the statement of facts. They're talking about striping the parking areas, which should have been striped before, but they want to reconfigure the location of one of the spaces in kind of this odd location. I just don't know what people think about that. I don't really know why that's an easier maneuver than them all being parallel to each other.
You mean the one on the back side?
Yeah, there's a back one. So the original approval was like 5 spaces in a kind of normal parallel way, and then they pulled one out and they kind of put it like at this weird angle, which they say is easier to maneuver. I can't speak to that, but
It is. I mean, I think that I'm more concerned about the parallel parking because it's not very wide with all the vehicles that are going to come in and from the 107th Street, and then they're going to turn into to park. I think that parallel parking, I'm not sure if there's enough space for the cars to maneuver in with the vehicles moving around to make that turn to get into the booth. I think the angular parking is probably more in line of the flow of traffic and away from the movement. So my concern was more with the parallel parking, and I would like to understand the circulation. It is a very well utilized gas station. Highly, I mean, any time of the day you go, it's very well utilized. So given the width of it, we just need to make sure that there's enough space for all the functions that we propose. And I don't think the expansion of the convenience store is that much of an issue because it's not expanding into an area that could have been used for parking. So I think that's okay.
Yeah.
And the in terms of the landscaping, it's in good condition. It's
okay. In terms of the existing condition of it, yeah. So with respect to the landscaping, though, the previously approved plans just show kind of a blob of landscaping. I think it's better if we get an actual landscaping plan that specifies type and number, so then it's more easy to keep up with maintenance.
Agreed.
Also, I don't think that there should be a temporary shed like that for storage. If you're building that addition, why can't you build a room for storage as part of the expansion? The photographs, anyway, showed a lot of litter around the site. And also the slatting at the fencing looks like it needs to be replaced.
Well, they have 2 different kinds. I think the brown one they put in when they came to us a few years ago. And now they have this white and green stuff also along the rear of the site, which they should really replace with the same slatting. And there are void spaces in the landscaping along the rear.
Yeah, they should show that they comply with, I guess it's what is 73 to 11, the landscaping provisions. They've got to have dense screening, shrubs, et cetera, and at least 6 feet high, so they should show that they comply with that.
Could everybody speak up when they speak into their mics, maybe lean forward? People are having trouble hearing on the recordings.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So really lean in and speak to the mic. Okay. Okay. All right. Next.
Decision items, appeals calendar, item number 5, 106, 107, 15A, 149th Street, Queens. Do we have the revision to the plans?
Right, they did revise the plans to show no street trees at all.
Right, they removed everything.
Yeah,
3 of them.
so then I'm like, and they had 3 existing trees.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why there isn't a way to accomplish both tasks, meet DOT requirements, and at least have a couple trees or something, right? So I don't know whether the cuts can be slid closer to the property line. I don't know what the rule is for the distance of curb cuts to property line.
So the existing curb cut that is there, if that stays, then one of the trees that's to the south will not, I don't think will need to be replaced. It's then only one curb cut, the new curb cut that will have to be built, that would need to be accommodated. And that was, I think in the earlier plan was shown at a width of 8 foot 9 inches, and now it's shown as 10 foot. So if an 8 foot curb cut can be maintained, and if there's a way to again shift it to preserve the other one, that would be ideal. And I don't think we have that information, the requirement of the DOT.
Well, actually, I
So-
think DOT had a prior comment, I believe, about wanting 10-foot curb cuts.
Oh, they would have
So I
required
think
10.
so.
I see. Okay,
My notes
okay.
aren't quite so clear about that, but I'm pretty sure the
So in
DOT
that
wanted
case,
that.
if that has to be a 10-foot curb cut, maybe there's a, at least we can then, of the 3 trees, we can try to keep 2 of them
Yeah.
by keeping the existing curb cut. And I think in earlier discussions, we may have asked them to realign the existing curb cut, but at that time, we did not know that that would result
Right.
in loss of 2 trees. I think now that we have this information, it would make more sense to try to preserve 2 of them. And the location of it is also perfect, because this is like a T
Straight
intersection.
shot, yeah.
So having these 2 trees also provides a nice buffer for the residential homes from the oncoming vehicles and the lights from that.
Okay, so they need to work this more. Okay. Anybody else? No?
Continued hearing items, item number 6, 234 14A, 738 East 6th Street, Manhattan. It's adjourned
I'd say
to
we
July
adjourn.
12th.
Yeah, no, we're not going to adjourn to July 12th.
No, they can't be here. This is why we're...
No, we're not going to be able to, is this one that we
We
kept
had
on the
previously
July
agreed
12th?
to, yeah.
Because the July 12th calendar is an absolute insane calendar, so I don't know if we agreed already on this
We
one.
did.
Okay.
Because we set up a new schedule, DOB and...
Yeah, let's check, although the 12th is a little better than the 19th, I will say,
Yeah.
as we recall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I already
But-
had it...
We may have saved a spot already on
saved-
this.
We saved
In
a
which-
spot,
In which
okay.
case, it's already.
It's okay. Part
you
of
know,
the thing. Yes. Okay.
Perception is that it's on there already.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Next one.
New cases, item number 7, 238 15A, 243 15A, Dunton Court, Queens.
Okay, we need a community board recommendation. There's, the drawings are, or let's say, the zoning analysis is relying on the interpretation of this site as being a corner lot, even though 102nd Street doesn't exist. So they're saying it's on Dunton and 102nd, therefore a corner lot. I'm not 100% sure that the definition of street includes a mapped, completely unimproved street to be a corner lot. I mean, it's a forested street, it's not even just simply unimproved, right? But if it does, Then they also have to, provide an open area pursuant to zoning resolution 23-891A. I think really, though, that DOB needs to be aware that 102nd Street is mapped but unimproved, so that they make the call about whether that should be viewed as a corner lot. And in any event, some open area needs to be provided behind the buildings, then they're providing none or hardly any, just a tiny bit. So I'm not sure it complies with zoning. We should see the floor plans and elevations to understand that the building complies with Appendix G, because they're raising it very high. So it sounds like it's like 6 feet more than the base flood elevation. So I'm not sure that they're understanding the rules of Appendix G. And then, the fire department has a letter that says that Dunton has to be 30 feet wide curb to curb. The drawings show 20-foot wide curb to curb, so I don't know where we go from that. It also says that there should be no parking on Dunton, but from Google Images, you see parking on Dunton already. There are no, and apparently there are no parking signs provided. You don't see any when you look even at the Google Images. Dunton isn't really an open street in a certain way. It has a curb that you have to drive over. So all that kind of stuff that makes it not really a street, it really needs to comply with DOT requirements for a street. It needs to be a continuation of a sidewalk. There's a place where the sidewalk just abruptly stops into somebody's backyard.
And they only have a 4-foot wide sidewalk.
Yeah.
So I questioned whether or not that was permitted under DOT regulations. I think they have to have a regulation-sized sidewalk plus 30 feet.
And I don't see, other than giving up their own property for this, I don't see how they meet fire department requirements and street requirements for this project. They also need to show compliance with the distance between buildings rule. Well, we don't have the floor plan, so we don't know what the uses are in there. Also, the traffic study doesn't represent the reality, nor does the fire department site plan. 102nd Street is closed and unimproved, so you can't show the fire department that there is an exit for the fire trucks down a map street, an improved map street. And also, let's see.
I'm sorry, and it's unimproved?
Yeah, 102nd Street goes.
I drove it.
Well, that's only to First Avenue it's connected, but to the left,
It
it's
doesn't.
not.
It
Oh,
does
okay.
connect, yeah.
Like the site plan totally assumes this street, it actually shows it as if it's there, it's a mirage.
And it doesn't exist past
Yeah.
that
Past
point.
that property, you have to make a
Yeah.
left turn.
They're showing it
Yeah.
on the site plan as if it
Right.
continues on like forever, and it doesn't.
Oh, okay, all right, because I approached it this way.
Yeah,
and
that's
Turned on.
what I did too.
That's the other thing, in
But you
terms of
can't
the
go
traffic
the other way.
circulation, the
Yeah.
plan shows traffic is moving from 102nd and then making a left onto Dunton, but when I went to the site, I didn't see any sign saying Dunton is one way. I actually drove the other way.
Yeah, you came in
all
the other way.
And then ended up going to 102nd, turned out. So we are, again, going back to the DOT street standard requirements, we need to ensure the traffic patterns and circulation is consistent.
Right.
And the flow of traffic, all of those need to be identified.
And also, if they have to build to DOT standards, I'm presuming they also would have to provide street trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, as well, which
And
they
is
do
4
not.
foot width enough for a street tree and
Well, that's.
But this is
that's
curb to
the-
curb.
Yeah, but
So-
the issue of a 4-foot
Yeah.
sidewalk
Right,
is
exactly.
Right.
clearly that you
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to have it.
So I actually think that we don't usually do this, that DOT should be looking at this, because it's just such a messy non-street. I mean, they're sort of treating it like a private driveway when it's really not. It's a through route. And yeah.
Also, could they take a look at the side yard requirements for semis? He's got to
For
have.
semi-detached, you
For
mean?
semi-detached houses. He's got to have an 8-foot minimum required side yard, and I know he shows 8 feet, But he also mentioned something about, I think it's 4 feet between the edge of the building and the property line or something like that. It wasn't clear to me on the plan that he was going to have 8 feet in what he's considering a side yard, and that, of course, goes back to
Between-
whether or not this should be a side yard or not.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Between the house and
The
the rear
adjoining
yard.
property. Oh, and the rear yard.
The
rear
rear
lot
yard,
line, okay.
yeah, or the side lot line. He
Right.
needs 8 feet.
Okay.
23,461, I think it is, B, should be side yards.
And then some of the plans, the front yard is shown as asphalt, and they have to do that analysis of use of open area, unpaved, no parking. I think they were trying to satisfy the fire department's 30-foot open area in front of the building by just paving the entire front yard. So-
Okay. Okay.
Zoning calendar, decision items, 3114BZ, 165 Spencer Street, Brooklyn.
Okay, this one we have to continue to defer because there are serious air quality issues that are being worked on.
Item number 9, 13915BZ, 1024 154th Street, Queens.
Okay, they submitted the response that we asked them to on 6/22, the plan showing the existing landscape, a 6-foot chain link fence with slats around the parking lot, which meets the screening requirements under section 36-56A2. That the proposed, they had a letter with the community board stating that there's a 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. valet parking service, but their hours are 4:30 a.m. to 12 a.m., so not sure how that valet parking time works, and they're open till on Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. There's a letter to the letter from the applicant to the community board that indicates that there are 28 stripe spaces, but with valet parking is going to be 40. There's also a sign they showed us that shows valet parking for LHF, which is Life Health Fitness, if everyone understands that when they look at it. It took a while, abbreviations like that. It also says parking also for DD. What's DD?
Dunkin'
Dunkin'
Donuts.
Donuts.
Oh, okay, so how are they accommodating the needs of this Life Health Fitness and Dunkin' Donuts? That sounds like there's not enough parking. I'm not understanding that. We have a letter from a neighbor dated in March that we didn't receive until like the day before our hearing or the day of the review session, so I don't think we saw this letter, which is complaining about noise from the parking lot after 9 p.m. and that there's inadequate shielding of the car lights. I really do think the applicant has to respond to this. Is this something?
This came in this submission came in after hours on Friday, right, for the case we're talking about, 139-15BZ. I haven't had a chance to look at it to see if it meets the request in the email.
Okay.
But I don't see a mention of the hedges 8 feet tall.
Okay, now, so what I was suggesting is you do one of some solutions. One solution is you plant dense hedges up against the perimeter of the parking area, which is not a required screening under the zoning resolution. They already have a 6-foot fence with slats, but the slats don't, for one, it's only 6 feet high, and for two, it doesn't affect noise, whereas planting is a noise buffer. And then the other is to extend the valet parking period where it goes from all of the disturbing time periods. So 4 in the morning until like 11 seems to be one disturbance, and 7 p.m. until midnight seems to be another period of disturbance. and you don't allow anybody to park their cars manually there, so it's only the valet guys. It doesn't eliminate the lights, and it doesn't eliminate noise from cars starting up and things like that. But at least it eliminates people standing in the parking area and talking and hanging out and so on. So, yeah, well, okay, we'll do this after. We don't have to do this at a review session, and they can talk about it at the hearing. Okay. Anybody else?
Item number 10, 219-15BZ, 945 61st Street, Brooklyn.
Okay, they submitted proof of the approved sprinkler system. They amended the drawings as we requested and submitted the ZRD1 backup drawings. So I think they did everything, yeah.
Continued hearing items, item number 11, 240-14BZ, 1620 Shore Boulevard, Brooklyn. We're adjourning this to August 16th.
Okay.
Item number 12.
Oh, we're adjourning it to August 15th, but...
16th.
16th, sorry. But the issue of the easement area absolutely must be resolved before the next hearing. Otherwise, we adjourn it again because we're not going to get involved in the easement battle.
Or something, yeah.
Right.
Item number 12, 3415BZ, 2316 Ocean Parkway, Brooklyn.
Okay, they submitted drawings to respond to questions we had previously. I believe we were supposed to get a revision on the drawings to make sure that it complies with the side yard and rear yard setback requirement, which apparently does not at the moment, by not a lot, but nevertheless. So I don't know whether those drawings were submitted, but we asked for them. Anybody else?
I had a question, and I was trying to, based on the cover letter, it said that the plans were revised to indicate 4-foot dimensions.
4-inch.
Yeah,
I think he meant 4 inches.
4 inches.
Didn't
Yeah.
mean 4 feet.
Okay.
So when you look at the drawings, it's 4 inches from the
Right,
property
okay.
line to the edge of the garage.
Right.
But it says 4 feet in the statement of facts. I wish people were a little more
Right, so we just
careful.
need to have consistent, okay.
Yeah.
And also, I would like it if it's possible to get a section that is taken from an area where we can see the roof of the building, because there's certain area where the section is taken. It's not very clear where the roof line ends.
Yeah, it was flying out
Yeah,
there.
so it's, and that can be misleading, so we need to make sure we have a building that's completely enclosed in all.
Maybe you should also show an isometric in the other direction. He shows it as one spot, but maybe he needs to
Yeah,
turn that so that you can see the back end of the building.
Yeah, maybe.
That might help to clarify how the roof actually works.
Well, I was hoping that, because we asked them several times to correct the drawings so that it's clear that it complies with the height and setback requirements, and that if all they have to do is show that it fits within the envelope, it's not a lot of work to do. But to make them do an axonometric and make them do another section, that's going to be another hearing. They can't finish it by tonight, right? But to just do a little dash line that shows that it sits behind the rear yard and side yard setback, and then drop that little edge of the roof, that takes 8 minutes, and they could do that.
That's fine.
So I'd rather not ask them for more drawings. You know, part of it is, unfortunately, many of the architects who work on these kinds of projects don't know how to communicate to us what their projects are about. They do an axonometric a little bit, like robotically, and they don't understand that that's a communication technique to show us what the house looks like. So it's very unfortunate. So maybe if for instance, if the council could communicate better that the drawings are to communicate and not just say, give us an axo, you know, it would be more
It's
helpful.
also it's like a weird shape because it's
Yeah.
at an angle, the front is at an
Right.
angle to the back, the rear, and, you know.
But it's like, that's the thing, it's like selecting where you're standing when you do this axonometric. It's up to you to decide how to communicate to the board and explain, we're having trouble with this roof line, let me show you how the roof line works, and not just treat it as if it's a homework assignment and, you get it in and then at least you're not marked incomplete, Anyway.
Never mind, you only got a C, but.
Right. Yeah, well, that doesn't,
Okay. Never mind.
all right. Next one.
Item number 13, 6415 BZ, 39 Clarkson Street, Manhattan.
Yeah, they requested an adjournment for this, and unfortunately, the July calendar is full, so.
Item number 14, 12615 BZ, 1782 East 27th Street, Brooklyn.
Okay. So, we did have some letters that we talked about last time about how this building cannot be used as a synagogue, because it's a house, so that will be a condition once we finish review of this. But if it's not going to be a synagogue, then I have a few questions for the architect who I would like to have come to the hearing. Why are there so many sinks on the first floor? Why is the area in front of the kitchen not labeled with any use at all? Why are there so many entrances and a long ramp for the disabled access where the disabled occupant of the house has no access to a bedroom or a three-piece bath or the upper floors? So this is one of those things where the plans tell you what the intentions are. With respect to the total side yards, they just need to correct. The calculations on the drawings should indicate that 11-foot-4 total side yard dimensions comply with section 23461A as a result of the permitted narrower lot width reduction. So it makes it look like when you look at the calculations, they're just not complying. It's not true. It does comply. The second floor, despite our request to diminish the bulk of this, they pulled the second floor back by 2 feet. So now it's a 22-foot rear yard, which I don't see is justified at all by neighborhood characteristics. The rear yard study doesn't support this at all, as all the adjoining properties have complying, even larger than complying rear yards, all of them. The roof line and building height is totally out of character and really strange, frankly. So strange is out of character unless you're making an amazing design statement, which this isn't. There is no reason for an 11-foot 9-inch clear attic height and a 14-foot floor to roof height, none at all. The axonometric doesn't match the profile of the elevations in the plans either. So when you do an axonometric, it needs to be accurate, represent the project. In the sections, they should also show using shading or hatching the existing walls and joists to remain, because it's impossible to tell if there's any building being retained here. And they should dash in the walls and joists that are going to be removed so we can understand what's left of this house and whether we really do have an existing building. It appears that the cellar will be excavated approximately 15 inches, and where it's currently unexcavated, also excavated there, and that the second floor ceiling joist will be dropped to what looks like an unpermitted ceiling height of 7'10" from a permitted height of 8'6". I don't understand these drawings at all. So, and any other comments?
Yeah, I had comments last time about the attic and roof design, and I still have comments that I don't believe that it complies with the zoning resolution. The southeast portion of the roof, has an 18-inch articulation, and you can have an apex point, but they have a portion of the roof which doesn't fall within that area of the roof. And then on the north side of the roof, they have two articulation points coming from just one ridge line, from the ridge line. And they should really have one articulation point and only one, what do you call it, dormer. And it has to fit in the envelope. They're not allowed to have dormers projecting outside of the allowed envelope. So either they have to show that it fits in the envelope, or they have to get rid of, they have to redesign the roof.
Yeah, well, I think they have to redesign the roof anyway because it's way taller than it's
And then they have these
necessary.
2 little dormers sticking out at the front, which they almost look like outhouses on the attic, in the attic.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
I don't think they fall within the envelope either. But, you know,
No,
Okay.
I don't think so either.
Okay.
Oh, they just need to correct their statement on page 7. It says that a 25-foot perimeter wall is permitted, but that's not true in the R3-2. Okay.
Move on.
Yeah.
New cases on the zoning calendar, item number 1, 15615BZ, 1820 East 50th Street, Manhattan.
Okay, we need a community board recommendation. I'd like to know what happened, why there's no updated C of O, because that was a long time ago that the special permit was last updated. When was it, in '92? So how can the building be going this long without a C of O update? I'd like to know whether the fire department is satisfied with the fire alarm and sprinkler submissions. You can see the sprinkler heads and the fire alarm boxes and so on in the photos. This is more a curiosity because I see it on the C of O, but I don't understand why the mezzanine's a mezzanine. It looks like it's an entire floor. So not sure what that's about.
How do you access that? Is it ADA accessible? It looks like it's just stairs.
Yeah, I don't actually, I think part of the problem is the drawing doesn't tell you where the outline of the mezzanine is, so it looks like the whole floor, and then there are doors that's either they're swinging to midair, or it's actually on a floor that where the elevator mysteriously doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop.
Right, so I just think the drawing is incorrect, and needs to be correct.
And does the elevator actually go to the roof?
It doesn't go to the
Splash
roof, no. But the thing is, this is initially approved and pre-local
Yeah,
58.
I know.
So it's more like
So there's
a
no way to-
reasonable accommodation type thing for squash, right?
Just as.
And I don't know how they deal with it.
I had some comments on the statement of facts. To just basically, that needs to be corrected. Statement of fact somewhere states East 59th Street, when the street is 50th. Then page 6 of statement of fact, under findings 8100E, says the proposed use will not contain any significant presence on the ground floor level. Well, the entirety of the ground floor most of it is occupied by PCE except for the entrance. So unless we're seeing partial plan, but according to the plan, it seems most of the ground floor is the PCE. So it's not consistent with what's stated. And then finding C of that same 8100 section says located within an approved building that is under construction.
Oh,
So, and then D and G says, the findings D and G says there's a pedestrian plaza on the site approved by City Planning Commission. I don't think there is a pop space on that property because this predates pops. So unless it's a large part of a larger zoning lot, I don't know.
okay, it may not be a pop space. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Okay.
Item number 2, 22115BZ, 4155 Washington Street, Brooklyn.
Okay, also need a community board recommendation for this. We need notes added to the drawings about the sprinklers. There's a note that I think is incorrect that's sitting on the drawings that says residential portions of this building shall be maintained below 45 dBA. I think it's a commercial building, so I don't think that note applies. Their access for accessibility requires that this is like a kind of this irony about people in wheelchairs, you know, they end up having to travel further than anyone else to get to the elevator. So in this case, they have to go around the block to get to the main elevator bank, and once they get up there, they have to go around the block to get to the reception. I don't know that that actually satisfies ADA requirements, and I'm not talking about Local Law 58, I'm talking about, you know, it's a public accommodation, and I think it needs to comply with, it does need to comply with ADA, so I'd like to hear
Also,
how it
I don't
does.
think that they have included those areas in which the elevators are in their calculation for square footage, because if that's an entrance,
Yeah.
right, to the PCE, then all lobby areas and all elevators should be included.
I wasn't sure when the PCE started operation.
It's opening on July 14th.
It's already open.
It is? You saw it? Oh, because it doesn't, it says on the website, grand opening.
Oh, it
July-
does?
So that
Because I
would be a
saw people
soft
in there.
opening.
Yeah, like-
No, I think that they're just like, well, at least I thought
Yeah.
they were just setting up and like maybe they were holding some introductory kind of.
Okay.
Gyms always have 3 months of soft opening, so that's how they work out the kinks, right? So the official opening is July 14th, but it means that the sprinkler systems and everything have to be installed. So we do need sign off or something that fire department's okay with about sprinklers and fire alarm. I'd also like to understand what's holding up the C of O. Since the 2003 conversion to offices, the building's been operating without offices, without C of O. Also, whether the spaces in the on-site parking garage are available for the PCE and how that works. Is it just first come, first serve? We do have LPC approval. And I'm not sure what we do about this, but the building is really large and is out of compliance in many, many areas. There are a lot of violations against the building, few of which seem to be PCE related. There's elevator violations, but the PCE doesn't control the elevator. So I'm not really, you know, you could look at this as the landlord makes money by renting to the PCE, so gets rewarded by getting the special permit. So how do you put pressure on the landlord to do what's necessary? On the other hand, the PCE is sort of this innocent victim in the story because they're paying rent. So I don't know, but it seems to me that there should be some kind of leverage against a scofflaw owner. Or an explanation for what's going on, you know, to remedy all of these open situations.
There was a discrepancy in the lot area in the statement of facts and in the plans. And if possible, I would like to see some photos of the surrounding area and the interior. At least I didn't see it in the files.
There should be photos of the neighborhood. You know, the official BSA photos that show it on the
Maybe I
outside.
missed it.
Okay. So what's the
Was she
discrepancy?
asking for interior photos, did you say? She
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah, interior photos we don't have, right. So what's the discrepancy in the statement of facts?
The lot area.
Oh.
The lot area that's in the statement of fact does not correspond with the plan. That's all. It's really, it's just a minor thing.
All right. Well, interior photos would help establish that the fire alarm and sprinklers have been installed, for example, and then fire department could decide what they want to do about that.
Right.
Anybody else? Okay.
Item number 3, 24915BZ, 321 Star Street, Brooklyn.
Okay, this one also, we need a community board recommendation. There's no mention of a sprinkler system in the statement of facts, but the plans show the space will be fully sprinklered. And, I don't know, site visits, I'm assuming the building's still under construction.
Yes.
Doesn't even start it.
Haven't even
has not even
started,
started.
yeah. Because I saw they got an excavation, supportive excavation permit like last week.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
just beginning.
I was just wondering how they're going to have 1.06 FAR in a zone where the maximum FAR is 1.0,
Oh,
unless they're going to have some community facility, but it didn't seem like there was community facility, so.
yeah, we
And
don't know
then-
what the other uses are on those adjacent spaces, right?
Right.
Or maybe the zoning lot is bigger?
Schedule A.
Oh, that wouldn't make any difference.
And then if
Bigger
they
and
could just
includes
comment on the
community
parking requirements.
facility. To comment, just.
Just
comment
if,
on-
it- you know, the building predates
Yeah.
parking, or they're going to be enlarging it to some degree, so if they could explain that. I guess they're only raising the roof.
Well, they're raising the
accommodate-
roof, and they're adding a little bit of floor area for offices.
They may be already over on their FAR. So it could
Well,
be
if it's built
pre-existing.
full to the lot, it's at 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they have, well, I don't know, never mind.
Okay.
Item number 4, 2016 to 1210-BZ, 2590 Highland Boulevard, Staten Island.
Okay, with this one, I had a glitch, so I'm doing this by memory. So I know that the community board did submit its recommendation, and that this is multiple buildings on a lot, but other than that, I don't remember what my comments were.
I just had some confusion regarding the hours of operation.
Okay.
It says they're open Monday to Thursday for 24 hours, but I wasn't sure what, if that, does that mean they open Sunday at midnight? You know, they should just go, you know.
Okay.
Day by day.
Yeah,
hour by-
and just the way it was submitted, I really didn't understand the hours of operation.
Okay.
Because then it says it closes Sunday at 8 o'clock.
9.
9.
Oh, 9, okay. So,
That's it?
That's all I have. I didn't have anything.
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
just the hours of operation were not clear.
all right. That's it.
That's it. This concludes the public review session for June 27, 2016. Ah, you missed it.
Oh, the whole thing?
You're going to listen to the tape.
Okay. There's more folks here?